Hello, and welcome to our lesson on risk management. This segment will cover quantitative risk analysis. Performing quantitative risk analysis involves the numerical analysis of the combined impact of identified individual project risks and other sources of uncertainty on overall project objectives. The primary advantage of this process lies in quantifying the overall project risk exposure and providing additional quantitative risk information to support risk response planning. While not mandatory for every project, it is conducted throughout the project lifecycle when deemed necessary. This analysis is not universally required, and its execution relies on the availability of high-quality data regarding individual project risks and uncertainties, as well as a well-established project baseline for scope, schedule, and cost. Typically, quantitative risk analysis necessitates specialized risk software and expertise in developing and interpreting risk models, resulting in additional time and cost. The decision to use quantitative risk analysis is explicitly outlined in the project's risk management plan, and it is particularly suitable for large or complex projects. It stands as the most reliable method for assessing overall project risk by evaluating the aggregated effects of all individual project risks and uncertainties on project outcomes. Perform quantitative risk analysis relies on information about individual project risks that have been identified and assessed as having significant potential by the Perform qualitative risk analysis process. The outputs from this quantitative analysis serve as inputs for the plan risk responses process, especially in recommending responses to the overall project risk and key individual risks. Additionally, a quantitative risk analysis may be conducted after the plan risk responses process to assess the probable effectiveness of planned responses in reducing overall project risk exposure. Some of the tools and techniques used in quantitative risk analysis are representations of uncertainty and data analysis. Representation of uncertainty. Elements uncertain due to individual project risks or uncertainties can be represented with ranges or probability distributions. Evaluation utilizes simulation techniques, such as Monte Carlo analysis, to assess the influence of elements on key outcomes. Outputs align with other quantitative risk analysis methods, including S-curves and tornado diagrams. Data analysis techniques applicable during this process encompass simulation, sensitivity analysis, decision tree analysis, and influence diagrams. Simulation is conducted using project cost estimates for cost risk simulations and schedule network diagrams with duration estimates for schedule risk simulations. Sensitivity analysis determines the individual project risks or uncertainties with the most potential impact on project outcomes. It correlates variations in project outcomes with variations in elements of the quantitative risk analysis model. Decision tree analysis supports the selection of the best alternative courses of action. Decision trees illustrate different project paths with branches, representing various decisions or events, each associated with costs and individual project risks. Influence diagrams aid decision-making under uncertainty through graphical representation. Entities, outcomes, and influences in a project or situation are graphically depicted, incorporating relationships and effects. These analysis techniques enhance the depth and precision of quantitative risk assessments, facilitating more informed decision-making throughout the project lifecycle. Outputs of the quantitative risk analysis result in updates to project documents, particularly the risk report. The enhanced risk report captures the outcomes of the quantitative risk analysis, encompassing the following aspects: assessment of overall project risk exposure, detailed probabilistic analysis of the project, prioritized list of individual project risks, and recommended risk responses. Assessment of overall project risk exposure, indication of project success likelihood, considering key objectives and representation of variability within the project, showcasing the range of potential project outcomes. Detailed probabilistic analysis of the project may include contingency reserve requirements for a specified confidence level, identification of individual project risks or uncertainties significantly impacting the project critical path, major drivers of overall project risk exerting substantial influence on uncertainties in project outcomes, prioritized list of individual project risks, including individual project risks posing the highest threats or presenting significant opportunities to the project, as identified through sensitivity analysis. Recommended risk responses. Presentation of suggested responses to manage overall project risk exposure or address key individual project risks. These recommendations serve as valuable inputs to the plan risk responses process. The comprehensive updates in the risk report empower project stakeholders with a deeper understanding of the project's risk landscape, aiding in strategic decision-making and the formulation of effective risk response plans. This is the end of this segment of our lesson. In the next segment, we shall discuss Planning Risk Responses, Part 1. This course is presented to you by South Europe College. Thank you for listening, and see you on our next segment.